I mean, how do I describe it? It's
bold,
a light,
black,
unapologetically black,
very funny, amusing,
caring,
You give great advice from a different perspective. Passionate,
free.
vulnerable,
a creative,
sexy.
My girl is lit as fuck.
Always ready to twerk a little something.
genuine, very genuine,
resilient,
like sixth sense, otherworldly. If you know, you know.
it's so vibrant, baby. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Soul Vibrant. I am your host, Lady AC. And first and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for the outpouring support, especially for my last episode. Oh my gosh, like just my heart is overjoyed just with the response and the shares and everything, and I hope to make more content like that on top of doing the shows that I'm doing and interviewing more people, because that was just an amazing experience, and I want to definitely use this platform to get that history out. So once again, thank you so much. A lot has happened since I have been on the mic since that episode, and honey, I just think we all just need a realignment. We need to be on our P's and Q's. We need to be masters of ourselves. We need to be on top of these healing journeys and understand our wants and our needs, and have our affairs in order, because we are in a whole new month. We're in the final month of 2024. When we look at the world around us, numbers matter so much to us in some kind of way. They matter when it comes to prices, electoral votes, from things such as our health to our wellness. And now, or speaking of today's show, of our healing journeys or our destinies in some cases. So today's show is going to highlight, and I have a very special guest to dive more into that. We're going to have our musical break, and then from that we'll get right on into it, okay? Today's episode is called Check Your Numbers. Be right back.
Make
And that was YahZarah with FMTU, or Fly Me to the Universe. And I am pleased to have with me, he is a professor of his craft and just all knowledgeable of all things. I have with me interviewing Mr. Lovell Browser. So how are you, Mr. Lovell? How are you?
Well, Adriana, I'm doing fine, and thank you, and welcome to the listening audience. Yes, my name is Lovell Browser Jr., and I'm a numerologist, and I have been studying numerology for more than 45 years now.
Oh, wow.
And the numerology deals with the science of numbers and letters and how they are associated with one another. Numerology is a skill that you can develop over time and become very skillful in, so that you can determine your destiny in life, find some personal fulfillment, know what the cycles are, because numerology are definitely tied in with the cycles of life. You know, the cycles of life include the age that you are, and that every time that you have a birthday, you enter into another cycle.
Yeah. So I know from previous classes and things in our conversations that you actually said when numerology wasn't, this isn't old. This isn't something new. Like, this is old practice. Like,
Right.
a lot of this has been around for generations.
Right. Yeah, it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. And there was a center in Africa for all learning and education called Egypt. And that's where Pythagoras studied for approximately 20 to 21 years, so that he could learn about mathematics, music, sound, healing, and numerology.
Right. So once again, we were the initiators, the originators.
Yes.
The official teachers.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. We were.
Especially when it comes to us, we want to make sure that everybody can grasp it. Everybody has access, like I said, to this knowledge, so they can use it to their benefit, which ultimately that's why it was created for us to be.
Exactly.
To use it.
Exactly. Our ancestors, our parents, developed this exactly, Adriana, for what you just specified and said. It was for us to be able to use it as a guide, for us to come into the knowledge of knowing ourselves better and being able to carve out our own future and destiny in this life that we live. Too often people live and die not ever knowing who they are.
Right.
And that in itself is a tragedy.
It is, especially in this time with past shows I've done, or pretty much the thing I've been carrying is about, you know, our healing journeys and learning who we are and understanding why that's important. And that's why I wanted to talk with you and think this was a great information to share with my listening audience or anybody who tunes in to gain firsthand of that. So to begin, for anyone who's never heard of it, you know, I'm very fortunate to have you in my corner, and so that I have, you know, access to this. But for anybody who's never heard of, like, what is numerology? Because for me, or when I first got introduced to it, it kind of felt like it filled in that gap that between science and astrology. You know, it kind of, you know, there's so many people who kind of debate like whether it's real or they want to stay on the science side or they're more into the astrology side. But I feel like numerology kind of actually fills in that case. But what is numerology?
Okay. Well, numerology is the study of numbers from a philosophical understanding. And when I say philosophical understanding, emotionally, mentally aware that certain numbers play a key role in our lives and that these numbers have a vibration. So it's a study of numbers working through what is known as the law of vibration. Everything that exists in this world vibrate. From the human being who has a soul, we vibrate. Our heart vibrates. When we use our muscles, it vibrates. When even we are in a relaxed state, we are still vibrating. When we are sleeping, we are vibrating. Even a rock, it vibrates. It may only vibrate once every 4 years, but nonetheless, it vibrates still.
Right.
So everything under the sun vibrates, and this is what numerology studies. It studies the law of vibration with the use of numbers. You see, it's very difficult to live in this world without using numbers in their vibrations.
Right.
Now, we know about mathematics, we know about arithmetic, we know about algebra, trigonometry, geometry, and other mathematical disciplines.
Right.
However, for the last several thousands of years, knowing the law of vibrations as it is associated with numbers was removed from the educational system, especially here in America.
Why do you think that is, personally? I mean, I think we can kind of put two and two together, but in your opinion, what do you think is?
I see it as being a way in which to control people and to even dumb people down from knowing who they are.
Right.
When you have that conduit of knowing who you are directly, and when you have a relationship between whatever religion that you may choose to believe in or respect, then you can follow a course for yourself, and you don't need to have some sort of intermediary to tell you what to do and tell you what not to do. On a deeper level, you already know what to do. It's rather if you grasp that concept of understanding that you are a being who vibrates, who has a soul, who knows, a person who has the ability to think and reason for themselves.
Right.
I would probably say the strongest of why it has been removed, because numerology helps you to think for yourself. And when you know yourself, you can think in very powerful terms and make your own decision. You see, each and every day we are told what to do. We are told what to buy. We are told when to buy it, how to buy it.
What's trendy, what's how we're supposed to live our lives, the most affordable lifestyle, even down to what we listen to and what we think is entertaining is all kind of fed to us in a way.
Right. And I'm glad that you said entertaining, because probably one of the strongest features of the entertainment world is music.
Right.
Well, there's a strong correlation between numbers and music, because every note in the musical scale, which is 7, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, references to vibrations, vibrations in motion. And what's very compelling from my own personal experience is that the first step towards me moving in the direction studying numerology began with the playing of a musical instrument.
Really? Okay.
Yes, but however, back in the day, in my era, I was taught how to play music by numbers first, then by notes. And when I moved from the numbers to the notes, it became very, very easy to follow along with playing music as well as reading music. Okay?
Okay.
And but I found that to be no longer part of the curriculum for the study of music.
Right.
Now, so it's very interesting. There's a very strong relationship between music and numerology. Actually, going back and talking about the Greek philosopher Pythagoras, he also found that you could study numbers and their vibrations, which is numerology, through the use of playing music and creating certain sound vibrations.
Right.
So every musical note has an identifying number that we can associate with. When that vibration, when that chord is struck or played, you can feel the sensation of it within your body.
So is that why not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but like, you know how they're starting to get into like the frequencies, the different musics that hit like the 540 and the thousands and stuff like that, and you know, they get to the point where like people are listening to these for like meditations and or they're finding different instruments that can hit those frequencies or creating music around that, so that kind of is activating.
That's exactly so, Adriana. You're right on point with that. The frequencies is very much a part of the vibrations and the sound. We can use these sounds, vibration, for actually healing. That was one of the things that our ancestors did in different temples throughout the world. We have pyramids that are all over this planet, and these pyramids were used as chambers for healing people through certain sound vibrations. See, you have priests and priestesses, who were authorities in terms of dealing with sound. That's primarily how they healed people. If you had a certain disease or a particular ailment, or you were under some sort of sickness, they could identify the vibration and the frequency that you were on. Was it high? Was it low? Was it in between? And they can determine by using certain sounds to restore the vitality of your health. You find it to be very, 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 very intriguing. And that's why, Adriana, it's so important to be very conscious about the kind of music that's created, and even more so the kind of music that you listen to. Because you can create music that can be very healing, but you can also create music that can be very disturbing.
Right. It can actually bring things to you or in you or...
Exactly.
But that's how they're doing it, is because they understand that the concept, well, or maybe sometimes people don't understand how powerful the frequency they created.
Right. And you can measure the frequency by knowing the vibration of your birthday. The month, the day, and the year that you were born will inform us to a certain vibration that is your life plan, or your destiny, or your path of life in this world. Also, you can find out a great deal from your name, because even Pythagoras found out that every letter, it does not matter what alphabet that you use. Okay? It can be a Greek alphabet, it can be an English alphabet, it can be a Spanish alphabet, it could be an Ethiopian alphabet, it could be one from an alphabetical system that is used in Thailand, anywhere. There's a particular vibration that each letter carries. Every time that we speak or utter a word, we are creating a vibration.
So that's why they say like the power of the tongue, or watch what you say, or mean what you say, because
exactly.
With that, it makes me want to kind of get a little deeper. So when you say about the numbers and the letters having frequencies, so explain, what are those frequencies?
We have 26 letters in our English alphabet, the language. We're going to stay with the language or the alphabet that we're most familiar with.
Know.
Okay? And we know that there are 9 numbers. Okay? Each letter in the alphabet has a corresponding number vibration. And I will go down the list with you right now. So the audience will know, so that they can find out what is the vibration of their own name. If they can just do as they are listening, if they can just do their own name right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, for the number 1, the letters that vibrate to the number 1 are A, J, and S. The letters that vibrate to the number 2 are B, K, and T.
Mm-hmm.
The letters that vibrate to the number 3 are C, L, and U. The letters that vibrate to the number 4 are D, M, and V. The letters that vibrate to the number 5 are E, N, and W. The letters that vibrate to the number 6, F, O, and X. The letters that vibrate to the number 7, G, P, and Y. The letters that vibrate to the number 8, H, as in Harry, Q, and Z. And the letters that vibrate to the number 9, I, and R. Number 9 only has 2 letters that are associated with this.
Okay.
And so from that, you can take the number of the letter in your name, write it down on a sheet of paper, okay? Place underneath each of the letter the number that corresponds with that letter in your name. And when you do all the letters in your first name, then you can add all of those numbers together. Add them until you reach what we call a single digit. Now let's say that the numbers in your name add to 25.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
25 is what we call a compound number, meaning that it is a number which is above 9. What we want to do is to find out what numbers from 1 to 9 vibrate with your name.
Right.
So to do that, we simply take 25 and we have the digit 2 and the digit 5. We add 2 plus 5 together, which equals 7.
Mm-hmm.
So for someone whose first name adds to 25, and we further reduce that number by addition to the number 7, we therefore find out that that person's first name is the number 7. Okay? And you can do that with your first name.
Mm-hmm.
I would say do that with your first name and study that. And then you can do that with if you have a middle name, and you can repeat that again when you have your last name. And then you can add all 3 of those name numbers together, and that will tell you the vibration of your full and complete name. But it's fascinating to find this out.
Right.
Numerology is very, very accurate, very detailed, and there's a saying that we have in the science of numerology that the numbers do not lie. People may lie,
right?
But the numbers do not lie.
Right.
Okay? And you can try to fudge it and fake it if you want, but the numbers are very telling and highly revealing as to who you are, what you do, what your makeup, what your likes, your dislikes,
right.
What kind of people you are going to attract, what kind of fortune that you're going to have on any particular given day, month, or year of your life. It's very detailed, and for those who have an interest beyond the listening of this broadcast, I would say that study numerology.
Right. Oh yeah.
Study numerology, and you'll find out a whole lot more, and it will help you in your direction in life.
I do truly believe that all of us are put here for some reason.
Right.
And our whole, I don't want to say our whole life, but at least a good portion of our life is trying to find out what that is.
Exactly.
And then once we do, to actually carry that out.
Just simply start out sharing with the audience the familiarity with the numbers.
Right.
The number one.
Okay.
The number one would be a person who is a leader.
Mm.
So if you have a daughter or a son or a niece or a nephew, grandchildren, and let's say that their first name vibrates to the number one, you have a leader, and it should be taught to them that they are leaders and that they are persons who need to make decisions in life, and they'll find that even in this life that they're in, they may need to be in a position of making decisions for other people, or at least helping other people to learn how to make decisions for themselves. So they are here to be a leader, they are here to be confident, they are here to be entrepreneurs. When I say entrepreneurs, I mean great business persons who can establish businesses and be very successful. The number one is a success-oriented number vibration. Then we have the number two. The number two persons are a bit different than the number one, because the number two, they carry with them a lesser aggressiveness or a lesser assertiveness in life. But nonetheless, they do know how to take care of business. They need to learn how to listen to other people. The number two is a number that deals with rhythm and timing. So they are very much in tune with themselves. And when they are in tune with themselves, they develop a rhythm for knowing what to do and when to do it. Okay? So the number two is a vibration that's they're very conscientious, they're very sensitive. They would be the people that we would say they got a sweet spirit about themselves. That's the number two individual. Now, the number three person. The number three has with it a lot of energy because it has the element of fire, whereas the number two has the element of water. Okay? The number three individual has a unique ability to be very vocal. Okay, they're very expressive. They can be very artistic. You find a lot of people who are great musicians and singers and artists and entertainers and actors and actresses and so forth. They have this bona fide number three either in their name or with their birthday. Okay? The number four individuals, they are the organizers, they are the planners. They are also very good business people, but they know how to bring people together and manage them very, very well. They need to have discipline in their life, and they need to establish in their life a work ethic.
Right.
The one thing about the number four, they always have to be honest and truthful. Okay?
Always.
Always. They cannot avoid that. If they do, then they will suffer in life. Now, the number five. The number five is, these are your people who are very versatile. They have their hands in everything. They are very magnetic, meaning that they attract all kind of people from all background, races, persuasions, and so forth. Their versatility allows them to do many, many things effectively well. Their problem is deciding what they are going to do with themselves because they're capable of doing so much.
Yeah.
Okay? Then you have the number six. Well, these are the people who are highly responsible in life. When you see somebody who is very responsible, they know how to take care of business, I can grant you most likely they have the number six vibration. They are the caregivers as well as the caretakers.
Right.
They know how to handle business well. One of the things with the number six, you don't want to mess with their money. Okay? because they put a lot of effort into what they do, and they believe in sharing and giving. Oftentimes, they can be abused by society because they care and they give so much of themselves. Then you have the number sevens. The sevens are the thinkers. They are always thinking. You're talking to a number seven, and all of a sudden you say, "Are you listening to what I'm saying?" That's the number seven. Their mind has gone somewhere else just for a fraction of a second or even a few moments. That's the number seven. They are readers. They are gifted with dealing with all aspects of education. They could be very, very good educators. Education is very important to them. So I would suggest that number seven people, they get the best of education that they can get, even higher education, advanced education, or some special kind of training or a special type of development. Because you'll find that the number seven who has a discipline that is in high demand, say like a physician who operates on people, right. A doctor who operates on people. That's a highly skilled profession, and they paid well, but they are very much in demand. But it requires a lot of education.
Right.
Okay. The number eight are the big business people. If you have the number eight, you know anybody who has the number eight, or you are the number eight yourself, listening audience, then you need to be about business. You need to be about business, 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 business. 90% of your life is geared around the business of whatever it may be.
Right.
Dealing
so like
with
the entrepreneurs and
entrepreneur.
If you
finance,
own a business, finance.
Yeah, politics, government.
Mm.
You even find that the number eight has its association with the military. They could be top brass in the military. All right. And then the number nine is the culmination of everything that I just said. These people are very, very capable, very adaptable. The one thing about the number nine, they can be very influenced under certain conditions. So they need to realize and understand who they really are. They are so capable of doing so much that they lose themselves, so they don't always know who they are. Other people see who they are, right. And people take advantage of them because of that. All right. So the number nine individual must learn how to follow through and develop commitments. It too is a number of responsibility, but it's even of a higher responsibility than the number six. Okay. So that just takes you through the numbers 1 through 9.
Right.
So that gives you an idea and familiarity with these vibrations. That's the beautiful thing about dealing with numerology.
Right.
You can look at a person's birthday, and you can look at their name or names, plural. Okay. And when I say names, it could be the name that you were born with. Some people discard the name that they were born with because they didn't like it for whatever reason.
Or just change the name.
You can look at the old name, the unused name, the present name, the family name, the nickname, and any kind of name that shows up in your life. Right. You can analyze that. But we're going to start out with the birthday. Okay. And so, what we need is the month that a person's born, the day that a person's born, and the year that a person's born. That's all we need. Okay. Keep it real simple. And let me say this. Yeah. Each month carries with it a number of vibrations. Okay? And
all these vibrations.
That's right. We know that there are 12 months in a year. And we know that it numbers from 1 to 12. We know that the 7th month is July.
Right.
The 5th month is May. The 12th month is December. And I'm jumping around for a reason, okay? And so you can apply that particular number, okay, to finding out what is a person's destiny. Okay? Now, what we have here is Miss Adriana's destiny. Sometimes some numerologists call it your life path number.
Mm-hmm.
So it is your life path number that is your destiny in this lifetime for you, Adriana, based on the month, day, and year of your birth. And so the number 7 becomes your plan in life
Mm-hmm.
for yourself at this time. This acts as your guide.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can tell you, because of this number 7, and family and audience, please remember what I said earlier about each of the 9 numbers. But I can see here that education has been and will always be a very important part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So you will always be a student. You will always be studying. You can rise to the occasion by furthering your education as far as you desire it to be, want to be, or able to be. But the number 7, it makes you a person who is private, unusual, very different. We can even say, to the far extreme of this vibration, even strange.
I can tell some people who know me are laughing hard at this.
Yeah, rather peculiar.
I know they are.
And you're, as I said before, you're a consummate thinker.
Right.
You're always thinking, and sometimes it's challenging for you to turn off that thinking.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
But you're capable of thinking through things and coming up with answers and solutions to whatever may come up as a challenge or a problem at that particular time of your life.
Mm.
But this number 7, it will always be with you, and this is your destiny number.
Right.
7. Now, in addition to everything else that we talked about with numerology even brightens our day by knowing what colors that are associated with each and every number. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the number that corresponds with this number 7 for you would be the vibration of purple, magenta, violet, and even ultraviolet.
And that's my favorite color.
And that's your favorite
That is
color.
my favorite color.
Okay. So how did I know that?
Look, see?
Okay. Number 7. So 7 is relevant to you and your way of being, and you becoming more in tune with colors, sounds, numbers, symbols, vibrations. Okay? This is all part of numerology.
Right.
We can demystify what people are afraid of or they don't quite understand. By having more knowledge of what you may fear removes the fear itself.
And that actually brings me to a new point. All of this is amazing. Like, trust me, I'm taking notes, mental notes, because I'm thinking.
Okay.
But it reminds me of something you said, especially in some classes, about the concept of fear, of not, that basically you said something to the effect of that people feel what they don't understand.
Right.
And so with applying numerology, that gives us the knowledge to remove that fear, and so that way we have a better understanding. Can you go a little deeper or explain that?
Okay, by you born on the number 7, you're a person who is a student of the world. I mean, whatever you can put your hands on, whatever books, material, reading, guides, anything that's published or written, you'll read. And so you develop a plethora. You have such a tremendous data bank of knowledge within you that you can speak on a whole lot of subjects. A lot of people who choose not to study for whatever reason may not have this privy to knowledge, and so therefore when certain situations come up, let's take something that's very real and that we may overlook and we may even scoff at or laugh at.
Okay.
Just knowing how to, and I know this is something that is very old,
Right.
but just having a checking account with checks and knowing how to write a check.
Right.
To pay for something. Don't you know there's people out here that have never done that?
Right.
And
Probably haven't even seen a check.
And never have seen a check. And if they were given a blank check to write, they couldn't even write themselves a check for an amount to receive money from. If somebody wanted to gift them and say, okay, put whatever amount that you want on this check, they probably wouldn't even be able to know how to fill out the check. And so this is a fear that a person has. Well, I don't know how to do it. Why you want me to do this? And all suppositions begin to appear in their mind. Doubt, worry, concern. These are all ingredients that are part of fear.
Right.
Okay? Fear is what shuts you down. It shuts you down mentally. It shuts you down emotionally. It can even shut you down physically if you think in fear, because fear creates the darkness in the mind. And if the mind is darkened, the mind does not function well.
Right. So kind of like when we talk about, like, for instance, like people living in trauma responses or they're living in survival mode.
Right.
It's hard to make sound decisions or choices or even think, if you're kind of stuck in that.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because the basis of the number 7 is thinking. You can think your way into a beautiful existence, but just merely thinking about what it is that you want of yourself, from yourself, out of life. This is number 7. This is the beautiful thing about having knowledge. 7 is the basis of knowledge. 7 is the basis of all educational institutions in this world.
That's why everybody kept telling me I need to be a teacher.
Right.
Okay.
You could excel very well in the educational field.
But these numbers do intertwine.
Right.
And they can show, and multiple numbers can show up within our lives. So it made me think of the concept you talked about in one of your classes about the life cycles.
Right.
So because that is an example of how these numbers show up in different kind of ways in these frequencies. So can you explain what a life cycle is, or how it...
Okay. All of us go through different periods and stages in our life that are known as cycles. Each of us has our own personal life cycle example.
Okay.
Every year, all of us go through what we call a personal year cycle. We do not remain in the same cycle all the time. These cycles changes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then they start over again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And they keep repeating and repeating. But each and every time we go through a cycle, we're supposed to be developing. If we are not developing, then we're not spiritually cycling through life. We're only existing in like a whirlpool. It's like we're stagnated. We're in the same place. We're not moving.
Right.
It's a terrible thing to be 24 years old and you got to report to kindergarten class.
Right.
Okay?
But that's pretty much how it is if you don't
develop themselves and elevate themselves.
Right.
So, you have a birthday. Let's say that your birthday is, we'll continue to use you.
Okay.
Well, each and every year, you change cycles.
Right.
And this is what we call your personal year cycle. So everybody has a different cycle that they're operating at. This cycle is also part of the frequencies, because sometimes these cycles can represent a frequency that is higher, mid, or even lower. All right? And so nothing ever stays the same. The important thing that I have learned about numerology is everything is constantly changing. Okay? changing from one day to the next day, from 1 month to the next month, from 1 year to the next year, and even greater cycles than that.
Yeah.
All of us go through a cycle of every 28 years. All of us.
Yeah.
Every 28 years,
Yeah.
there's a particular cycle. There's a particular major cycle that we go through that forces us to mature. Now, if you're one of those people who chooses not to mature, then you're going to have some problems in this world and on this planet. All right?
Because speaking to the people who are scared of change, or once again that fear, but what about also the people who don't like change?
They are going to find that they are going to retrogress. And what I mean by retrogress, they're going to feel like they're standing still. They're in the same place that they were 10 years ago. Okay, if they don't allow for change. Change represents a great deal of promise and growth in a person's life. If you do not change, it's like you can't wear the same clothes all the time. You got to change your undergarment. You don't want to walk around with the same undergarments on for 10 years.
Right.
And if you do, I don't want to be around you.
Right. I won't be right.
Okay. So even if you do change, and it's the same undergarment, at least wash them. That's something of a cycle or a change itself.
Yeah.
You know, you wash them, let them dry, and you put them back on again. That's a cycle in itself. That's a cycle,
right.
That's a cycle. So everything is a cycle out here. Everything is a cycle. And so change is really necessary because we go through a change of seasons 4 times a year. We go through a change of season. We go through the spring, summer, fall, winter.
Well, if you live in Georgia like us, that happens in one day.
That's right.
1 week.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And if you don't change, you become stagnated. And if you become stagnated, you eventually die much quicker than a person who allows themselves to make the change.
Looking at this month of December, how did the vibration show up?
Okay. Well, to find out what is the vibration for any given month, and we want to know about December of 2024, the very first bit of information that we're going to need is to know what is the vibration for the year. Simply, when we look at 2024 or 2024, we see that we have the digits 2, 0, 2, and 4. And so to arrive at knowing what is the universal year vibration, we simply add 2 plus 0 plus 2 is 4. Then 4 plus 4 equals the number 8. So the number 8 is the universal year vibration for the year 2024 or 2024. Okay? The number 8 is a very powerful vibration. It represents a period that all of us are going to need to deal with money, finance, and business. That's why the prices of goods and services in this country has risen so high, because we're in a money cycle.
Right.
Okay, so this is a money year, a money cycle. It also forces us to deal with money matters, even though we may desire not to. All right? That's just to give you a little insight about the year. Now, we want to find out and determine what is the universal month vibration for December. Well, we know that the year is 8.
Right.
All right? And December is the 12th month. Okay? Now, we simply add the calendar month number, which is 12, to the year, which is 8. So it's 8 plus 12, or 12 plus 8. Okay? which equals 20. All right? And from 20, we add the 2 plus the 0, which gives us the number 2. So in the month of December, the universal month vibration is the number 2. Okay? Now, the number 2 is a vibration, as I had said before. It's a number that we should deal with simplicity, but it is also indicating that we need to know both sides of the coin. Because the number 2 is a vibration that deals with, there's always two sides to the story. Duality, exactly. Thank you for that word there, duality. And so everything is duality. Male, female, masculine, feminine, right, wrong, good and evil, so forth and so on. We can go down the line. The number 2 represents what is known the law of opposites. Okay? So we know that whatever good is coming to us, there's going to be something that is opposing that's going to come right along with it. Right. So we are going to have to know how to determine to deal with the opposing vibrations and energies that we all may be faced with during this cycle. The number 2 is a number that deals with rhythm. Okay, the number 2 is a vibration that deals with timing, knowing when to do something at the right time. And so the number 2 is a vibration that calls for us to know when to do things and know when not to do things. It's a good idea to know who your friends are under the vibration of the number 2, to know who are not your friends. All this comes into play. The number 2 is a constant of rhythm, of movement. Number 2 also has an aspect of change within itself, like the number 5 does. But the number 2 is important because you don't want to constantly be vacillating. What I mean by that is back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, you won't be yo-yoing.
Right. No yo-yoing. Yeah. Thank you. You want to be able to know how to make a decision.
Indecisive.
Right. Yeah. And you want to make that decision at the right and proper time. If you are unsure about something, then don't make the decision. But if you're unsure about something and you make the decision, and then things don't go as they should or as you expected, who is to fault?
The person who made that decision.
Thank you. Okay.
Because you weren't steady in it in the first place.
Right. So number 2 says you got to be in touch with yourself, with your surroundings. Nah, that don't feel right. If it don't feel right, it's not right.
It's not right.
Okay? Be in tune with the vibrations, the emerging vibrations within yourself and then what's going on out here. You can step outside, and women do this very well because women have a very strong presence of intuition about it. They can say something's not right. Or if they got a child or they have children, they say, my child is in school, but something's not right. Let me go to the school and see what's going on with my baby. Okay, and may come to find out that the school was about to call her because the child had gotten sick. And so these are very fine vibrations that we can pick up on when we're dealing with the number 2 vibration.
Okay.
Having a great sense of knowing is number 2.
A place behind the light of twin galaxies. Einstein ring, these are the things that the heaven sees. A star with no light dimension suddenly overshadows our sun. These are the things that the heaven sees. Telescope under the telescope. Telescope under the telescope. sees.
And that was Hiatus Kaiyote with Telescope.
What is the key takeaway you want people to know?
I want people to know that it's very important to know who you are and what abilities and powers that you possess. And you can do that through a simple study of numerology.
Yeah.
There's a good bit of information, accurate information on the internet that if you just were to take the day that you were born, let's say if you were born on the 15th of the month, the 15, 1 plus 5 equals 6, so you can look up the number 6 to help you give you some guidance about what you are strong at or what you could be. You may find because of this number 6 that you would be very good in making money in the medical profession or the health profession. Okay? And so that's one of the takeaways that I'd like to share. And then also going back and finding out what your life path number and reading up about the life path number. Numerology can be very complex, but it also can be so simplistic that you can study and find out things for yourself just by sitting down for 10, 15, 20 minutes and reading.
Right.
Okay? Under no condition do I want to say this is fortune telling.
Right.
Because there is a great...
We're not worshiping numbers.
Right, exactly. Because there's a great misnomer that's around that people want to have their fortune told. Yeah, you can have your fortune told through numbers, but you really want to find out who you are.
Right.
Okay, and that's what I want to leave people with.
All right. And that's a great note to leave them with, because even I share that same sentiment, is that's why our healing journeys are important. Knowing ourselves is important. And this just gives you another tool, honestly, to use in order to get to that knowledge or get to that core. Well, Mr. Bluehead, once again, thank you so much for this information, for agreeing to do this conversation, being a part of this story. If people want to connect with you or want to follow you to find out more information, or maybe even want you to do their chart of numerology or anything, if you're open to it, where can they reach you or find?
Well, first thing I'd like to say, I do teach a class with Medu Bookstore in Atlanta, MEDU bookstore, and I teach an ongoing class if they want to learn about numerology. I also have a Facebook page which is called the Society of Numerology, or they can look me up under Lovell Rouser, capital Lovell, Rouser, ROWSER. Either way, you can locate information that I have provided on Facebook, also on Instagram, under the same name of Lovell Rouser. So thank you very much, Adriana, and I thank the listening audience out there, and may this podcast be forever and ever in helping others to become more realized about themselves. And I'd like to thank you, Adriana, for having me here as a guest on your show.
Pleasure is mine.
Okay.
If you would like to connect with me, I am on all social medias. To break it down, it is facebook.com Queen Lady AC. On Instagram, it's _I am Lady AC. And on TikTok and X, or Twitter, because if mama called it Twitter, I'm going to call it Twitter. On Twitter, it is both I am Lady AC. So until next week, y'all, signing off.